Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by Adventurous1. Am I the jerk for telling my daughter she is being selfish and that she needs to take an Uber since I am not leaving her older brother's wedding? This has been a built-up issue. My son got married this weekend and this issue isn't dying, so I am going here. My daughter has very bad anxiety. She is 19 and I will call her Shelly. Shelly used to go to therapy when she was a minor but stopped when she turned 18. Ever since then her anxiety has been out of control, and due to this, she won't drive anymore. She has a license but refuses to drive. We live in the USA and driving is basically needed or it's a big inconvenience for the people around her. Also, she is an adult, so it's not like we can force her to drive. This is the issue. My son was getting married and she was uncomfortable with so many people around at his wedding. She asked me to take her home. I told her no, and if she having difficulties, wait in the car. She told me it's freezing outside and she needs to leave. I told her no again, turn on the heat in the car and wait if she needs to be away from people. She don't like this answer, and told me she will have an attack if she stays and she needs to go home. I told her to take an Uber, that I am not leaving. She don't like this, and this was turning into a full argument. Shelly told me I need to take her home again and I had enough. I told Shelly she is being selfish, that she has many opinions and I will not deprive her brother, my son, of his parents being at his weddings. If I took her home I would miss his wedding since it was an hour's drive here. She called me a jerk and left to stay in the car for a bit. She was back about an hour later for the rest of the wedding. She has been pissed since, and her younger brother is copying her. Our next post is by Daydream Diva. Am I the jerk for refusing to lend my designer purse to my sister-in-law for her wedding? I, 24F, have a Chanel purse that was a gift from my parents when I graduated college. It's by far the most expensive thing I own. My brother recently got married, and his new wife Amy asked if she could borrow my Chanel purse for their wedding day photos and reception. Amy doesn't own any designer bags and really wanted one to complete her wedding look. I politely declined to lend her my purse. That purse is extremely valuable to me, and the thought of something happening to it makes me anxious. Amy called me selfish and materialistic for not lending it to her for the wedding. She said I was more concerned about a status symbol than helping family. My parents and brother also got upset with me, saying I should be willing to share my things with family, but I don't think I should have to hand over my most prized possession just because it's for a wedding. Now the whole family is angry with me. Am I the jerk for not lending my sister-in-law my expensive designer purse for her wedding? She's acting like I ruined her big day over this, but I think it was an unreasonable request. Our next post is by Own Plant. Am I the jerk for sending away the girl who came to clean my house because she ate my cake? I, 24F, am married to my husband, 28M, and we have one daughter together, 4F, Elia. We both work a lot and I also work from home often. I needed cleaning, so last week I called an agency and they sent a girl over to clean the house, and we agreed on $40 United States an hour. Let's call her Eva. So Eva, who is around 19 to 20 years, arrives at my house with her little sister, 8F. I asked her why her little sister was here, and she said she had no one else to leave her with. I wasn't very pleased, but assumed she didn't have a choice and didn't say anything. I showed Eva the playroom of my daughter and said it was to be cleaned as well, and her sister started staring around the room, touching all the toys. I again didn't say anything. Eva started working and I went to my room to get ready to pick up a cake for Elia and to pick Elia from school. I heard a noise in Elia's playroom, so I rushed over and saw Eva's sister playing in the room, and she broke a glass bowl that one had custom made for Elia when she was born. At this point I was annoyed, but again I held myself and told Eva to clean it and keep an eye on her sister. I went out, picked up Elia's favorite cake with strawberries. It was a cake that had strawberries on only one side on the top, and on that same side there were more decorations, etc. I put it in the fridge and left again to pick up Elia. When we walked in the kitchen I saw Eva's sister eating a big piece of the cake, and exactly the part with the strawberries and more decorations. I have never had an issue like this before. In fact, the cleaning ladies never open my fridge or anything cause they have no business there. I asked Eva what she thought she was doing and she told me, my sister was sad and really wanted cake, so I figured she could have a piece. Elia started crying because she had been looking forward to her cake with strawberries, and now the piece with strawberries were gone. I told Eva that it is not her place to figure whether her sister could eat something from my fridge without asking me. She could have waited for me to get back because I told her I would be back. I told her that even if she did do this, she should have not taken the whole decorated piece, because she could have also figured that this cake was meant for my daughter. Eva said that, "You are getting mad for no reason, just take the money from my pay." I told her she could pack her stuff and leave with her sister, and she didn't have to finish the house cleaning. She had been at the house for only 2 hours, but I paid her $120 and told her to get out. So I told a friend, and she told me that I overreacted over a piece of cake, and I should have understood the little girl. I again said that it is not just cake, but it is rude to open my fridge and take out a cake that is not unboxed yet, and eat it. I am wondering now, am I the jerk? Edit. Eva was supposed to be there for 3 hours, and I sent her away after 2 but paid her 3 hours. Our next post is by Naive Efficiency. Am I the jerk for telling my sister she needs therapy? My sister Myra, 40F, has a daughter Callie, 19F. Callie's dad was not in her life when she was a child, his choice, and Myra was a single mom for Callie's entire childhood. There was a time when Callie was 8 that Myra got into a relationship with a man called Troy. They were together for 3 years, and the three spent a lot of time together. Myra introduced Troy almost immediately, and they worked on all of them bonding and getting to know each other. Then after 3 years, Troy and Myra had been talking marriage. Troy decided to ask Callie for her blessing. Callie said she didn't want her mom to marry him. At that point, he decided the relationship as a whole was not going to work, and he told Myra, and they broke up. Myra never forgave Callie for refusing to give her blessing, and she blames her for the downfall of the relationship with Troy. He didn't want to be stuck in a relationship where Callie would never want him around, and Myra was convinced that Callie had lied for many years and has said Callie always said how much she loved Troy. I know that was more wishful thinking on Myra's part, and Callie never said anything either positive or negative. She was never asked and never offered it independently. Callie knows how Myra feels about her, and when she moved out 18 months ago, she did so with being fully independent from her mom so she wouldn't have to be around her mom's resentment. I have spoken to my sister about this, and she denies resenting Callie. Myra cannot understand why Callie stays away. She has complained about this a lot and has asked me what she's supposed to do and why this crap has to be so hard, and when I ask her what she means, she says parenting. I told her a few days ago that if she really wants to know what her next step should be, I told her it's therapy. I told her she badly needs it because she refuses to see why her relationship with Callie is so distant today. Myra took offense to the suggestion and told me I shouldn't be treating her like she's crazy. Am I the jerk? Our next post is by I Need Help. Am I the jerk for telling my husband our son was gay? I, 32F, caught my son, 15M, cuddling with his friend, 15M, while they were sleeping in their room. I decided not to wake them up, and I discussed it with my husband, 34M, and the possibility that our son might be gay came up. While I initially agreed with my husband's suggestion to approach our son when his friend leave, I later decided that we should just wait until our son was comfortable sharing this with us. My husband argued, saying, "What if he never tell us that he's gay?" I told my husband that if he doesn't tell us that he's gay, then he's probably not. I told him that we should just let our son know that we'll love him regardless, and leave it at that. However, my husband went against our agreement and questioned our son about his sexual orientation while I was driving my son's friend home. When I returned home, I discovered my son in tears, yelling and accusing me of outing him. I was confused and told my son that I didn't know what he was talking about. My son told me while he was crying that his father revealed what I saw and basically coerced him into coming out before he was ready. My son asked me why would I tell his father and why would I enter his room without his permission. I started crying and told my son that I was sorry and that I loved him and accept him no matter what. My son remained distant and now refusing to speak to me and his father. Update: I entered my son's room because I was doing laundry and planning on washing my son's clothes. I did knock to see if they were awake and waited for a response, and when I got no response, I entered. I only usually do this when I plan on washing clothes, as I like to do it early in the morning. I've been doing this since my son was 12, and he told me he didn't mind it because he would wake up with clean clothes. When I saw my son and his friend cuddling, I immediately walked out of his room and shut the door. I was thinking straight and should have waited for his friend to leave. Sorry for not mentioning this before. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.